football. Small boys in the park, jumpers for goalposts. Summer 1990, the time for every software house you can imagine to bring out a football game in time for the 1990 World Cup in Italy. The official game was, of course, Italia 90 by Virgin, but we're going to look at Italy 1990, spot the difference, by US Gold. US Gold famously gave us the abysmal World Cup Carnival in 1986, which was a reworking of the Arctic World Cup game. It was absolutely abysmal. And we're going to look at this across the three 8-bits, starting off with the Amstrad CPC. It's programmed by Tiertex, who did lots of conversions for the 8-bits. Funky tune here on the Amstrad. Options for different gameplay, 1 or 2 play, keyboard or joystick or redefine keys, and your match length. So we're going to turn this on to 5 minutes. If you've got a second joystick on your Amstrad, you can redefine the keys to that joystick, as my friend and I used to play with the Amstrad JY2 and all the problems that had with certain combinations causing the other joystick to go haywire. So we're going to play the World Cup. We're going to play it as England. Oh dear, what's wrong with his face? The right hand side of his face has melted away. Is he the Terminator? Oh dear, that's terrifying. Equally terrifying, the background. What's that on the desk? A giant mouse? I have no idea. Anyway, playing Ireland, and you wouldn't get away with this today. US Gold have actually got all the fixtures from the 1990 World Cup. These days you'd probably get sued into the ground. So we've selected our formation. We're going to select the players we want, and again, all the players are here from the England squad and all the other squads, all correct. And yeah, the thing is that, of course, again, you wouldn't get away with this today. You'd have to have all the rights to include these players. Even Sensible World of Soccer had to change the names of all the players very, very subtly. But in 1990, you could get away with this stuff. So we're going to start the match. A little bit jerky as you move along here. That takes a little bit of getting used to. Very narrow screen as well. I'm dribbling the ball up the screen here. It's been tackled. It's quite easy to pick out which player you are because there's a big arrow underneath you and there's good definition using the CPC's palette between the colours of the teams. And we're playing the Amstrad 128K version, which has these animations when you have a goal kick or corner or a goal, which can get slightly irritating. I had the tape version, although I was playing it on a 6128, and it didn't have the animations in it. If you play that version, the game's much more fluid. You don't have these constant, here again, goal click, just these breaks for no reason at all. Someone obviously thought that was a cool thing to put in the game, but they're unskippable and it's incredibly irritating. I'm going to try and score a goal. You can pass in this game, but I did play this game an awful lot. And going back to it now, you think of games like that came out later on the Amiga, like Striker, that had this similar top-down view. The jerkiness of it takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you start to get into the game, you stop noticing it. Not much you notice these stupid animations are really getting on my nerves now. Still 0-0, England versus Ireland. Is that how the actual game ended? I think it was. That instant with Gary Lineker and the problem he had during the match. Won't go into too many details, but we can't recreate that here, thankfully. It's actually a fairly decent conversion here by US Gold. You would have thought this would be slightly shoddy, another cash in, but US Gold seemed to have learnt their lesson. And we've got fails You actually get fouled and free kicks, which is really nice. Again, I can't think of many CP... Oh, I've scored! Yay! I'm getting a crowd chant there, or in a kind of whistling noise, and a goal animation. Am I going to get a replay? Probably not on an 8-bit game. No. So I forwarded the match on, and I'm getting towards full time, and you can see it's gone quite badly. I'm now losing 5-1 against Ireland. It all went a bit wrong. I don't know why, but it's just, yes, 5 seconds to go, and it's all gone horribly, horribly wrong. These animations add so much time to the match. It's 3-4 seconds every time they come up, and you're getting so many of them. It makes the match twice as long. Really irritating. So the match is complete. Full time. Oh, and Terminator Man's back. Yes, I've lost. He's really got to get some facial reconstruction going on the right-hand side there. It looks horrible. And there's all the results from the matches. And we get to see all the results from the groups as well to see how they're faring. I forwarded this on to the second match against Holland. You can see I'm doing a bit better here. And you can see as well, you can actually pass in this game. That's 4-1 against Holland, just coming to the end of the game there. But you can actually string passes together, although there's a big temptation to run with the ball and zigzag. You can pass and put moves together in a very basic fashion, which again I think is one of those firsts for this kind of game. Match day on the Amstrad certainly was too slow to do that kind of thing, and Emlyn Hughes and Peter Beardsley's soccer again. But in this, you actually can string together a pass in the same way you might in sensible soccer. So on the CPC, it's quite a good football game. I dare to say it's possibly the best football game on the system. And on the Specky here, the same company have done the version for the Specky, Tiertex. Looking very similar to the CPC version. Nice high resolution font here on the player select screen. We're going to play as Scotland, and this is going to be against Costa Rica. Right, and I'm spotting a problem here already, and I'm guessing you're spotting it as well. It's impossible to tell the two teams apart. And that's even a bigger problem, because remember I said about the CPC version, you can actually string passes together. Well, here on the Specky, who am I passing to? All the players are black. You get an arrow showing you which main player you are and which main player is on the ball for the other team. But that's it. It is completely ludicrous. I know the Specky's got colour clash issues, but why can't they... Well, I guess it's colour clash issues, I suppose. I was about to say, why couldn't they have some different colours in it? Or even just a different patterning on the shirts. I can't see there's any difference. They look absolutely identical. It's madness. And it's a shame, because actually the game plays as well, ignoring that, as the CPC version. But you can't play it. You can't see who you're passing to. It's a massive design mess-up in the programming of the game. And I've just put up here the Winners Edition, which was another version of the game that came out after the World Cup. And this indeed is the version I had for my Amstrad. And what this came with was, first of all, a wall chart with all the final results in it, so you could see how the World Cup went. And it had all the actual results of the matches in there, and then you could play your way through that. And you can also play the final, although to be fair, you could play the final in the original version as well if you wanted to. It was just another way for US Gold to eke out a few more weeks in the charts. And across to the Commodore 64, same tune as on the Amstrad version, and presumably the Specky 128K version. I have to say, I could only get a 48K version to run, and I probably should have mentioned that, which is why the Specky version was mute. Same options as on the Spectrum and Amstrad version for the team. here we go, selecting our formation again. I'm just going to select our squad. Nice colourful graphics here on the C64 menu screens. And each player has their own attributes: skill, speed, aggression and strength, and you have to select the right amount of players for each position on the pitch. So if you've got 3 defenders on, you've got to select 3 defenders. And off we go. And the ball's bigger than the players. Yeah, it's quite distracting. Let's see how it plays. I've thrown the ball out. Right. An own goal. No, that was an own goal. Oh dear. Same animations on the Amstrad version. They move a little bit faster though. You can skip them by pressing fire, at least on this version. Right, so let's see if we can score a goal. Pitch seems incredibly small. Has to be said, I've forwarded it on and I've lost 3-1 against Ireland. But so far so good here on the C64. Again, looking very similar to the other versions, with the group matches a bit there being shown the groups. We can continue the tournament, so we're going to end up playing against Holland here on the 64. So let's continue, and let's get that animation there, and off we go against Holland. There is one small problem on the Commodore 64 that makes it sometimes hard to tell the players apart. It wasn't evident on the first game, but here against Holland are orange, but I'm flashing a pinky purple colour when I'm in control. On smaller screens, and I imagine on RF, it could be very hard to tell the players apart because those two colours are so similar. Perhaps they should have chosen a more prominent colour, such as red. This pitch just does seem a little bit painfully small. Perhaps it's the size of the ball, I don't know. One very nice thing here on the C64 version is you've got crowd effects all the time, and I think that, again, for me, as far as I'm aware, is another first. Certainly the Amstrad version and the Spectrum versions, even on the 128Ks, are mute apart from effects when you score a goal. But on the C64 here, you've got a real sense of atmosphere when you're playing a game. Italy 1990, does it live up to what the tournament, or how the people remember the tournament? Well, on the Amstrad, it's probably one of the best football games on the system. Yes, it's a little bit jerky moving around, but it's enormous fun. And I probably played this more than any other football game on the system. I had the Winners Edition, and it was really good. And as I say, I had the tape version as well, which didn't have all those stupid animations on it, which made it even better. Spectrum version, real shame, could be as good as the Amstrad version, but I can't tell the players apart, so that's incredibly irritating. Now the thing is with the C64 version is, just like on the Amiga where every football game gets compared to Sensible Soccer, on the C64 every football game gets compared to Microprose Soccer by Sensible Software. And the thing is Italy 1990 as good as Microprose Soccer on the C64? Well, it's probably not. But it's not a bad stab at a football game, it's just you're always going to end up getting that comparison.